Morning adventurers, welcome back and welcome to Norton-in-hales in Shropshire. We're right on the Shropshire Staffordshire border actually. Let me get out of the rain and the wind. That's better. Yes, so today's video is just a little note about making sure you look at the map in advance so you don't miss things along the way, and just to keep an eye out because there's all sorts of lovely stuff all around us. So here, for instance, today we're going to have a look at the Devil's Ring and Finger. Now, we've seen some old stuff, you know, on our routes. We've seen churches that might be 1,000 years old. We've seen Roman remains a couple of 1,000 years old. But there's stuff around, all around us, that's a lot older than that. So the Devil's Ring and Finger, that's neolithic. So, yeah, to put that in perspective, that's between 2000 BC and 4000 BC. So, I don't know, those remains may be 4,000 to 6,000 years old. Just take a minute to think about that. So, yeah, and a lot of these things, I'll often just run straight past them. A little bit of tumbled old stone with some moss on it, and you don't realise. And of course, I'm sure there's lots of these things knocking around, which nobody's realised that they're there at all, because it's such a long time ago that it's lost in the mists of time. But yeah, whatever it was, 4,000 or 6,000 years ago, some chaps thought it was important enough to dig a quarry out massive bits of stone and shape them and place them there. So I believe it's supposed to be the entrance to a burial chamber, a circular ring, and the finger is like a stone so it could roll in front of the entrance. Anyway, come on, let's go and have a look. You should definitely come and pay a visit to Norton-in-hales. It's beautiful. It's got that lovely old England feel to it, sort of lost in time almost. Even if you just come and have a little stroll around, visit St Chad's and the local pub, it's lovely here. Anyway, we're going to head down now towards Norton Forge and the River Tern, which forms the border between Shropshire and Staffordshire, and cross over. Welcome back to my existing subscribers. I hope you love this. If you're new, welcome. Hi, I'm Simon. I just love getting out into the countryside and I film my runs. So why not click subscribe? There's a new route every week. And if you'd like to get early access to content and exclusive content, go and check out my Patreon page. And finally, do go check out my website, runadventurer.co.uk, where you'll get more information about this route and a map that will help you discover other places that we've been to. Okay, we're heading down to the river now and on to the Devil's Ring and Finger, which I'm guessing originally was up on the hill. There's some trees at the top of the hill, Marl Pit Plantation I believe it's called, so I imagine originally it was up there on the hill. Whether it was the entrance to a burial chamber, well, no way of knowing because those stones are gone, or maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just those stones on the top of that hill. As I say, all the people who knew have long since gone. What I can tell you is that the place had a hum to it. There was a palpable feeling in the air. It felt really, really old. Should be here somewhere. And here it is. However old it is, 4,000, 6,000 year old donut. It's old, you can feel it's old. Let's look from the other side. Wow, look at that. So this is the Devil's Ring. You can feel just how old it is. And here, these are the fingers. And look, these grooves. What were they for? The people who knew have been gone for thousands and thousands of years. Anyway, I'm really glad I took a minute out of my route to have a look. Fascinating. I carried on with my run, but the markings on the stones really intrigued me. We've got the Devil's Ring, the circle, and it struck me that perhaps the sun was supposed to shine through. And of course the position of the sun in the sky moves during the year, and so perhaps on the solstice it was supposed to hit that dead centre. And so at the top you've got markings, and at the bottom there's this another marking and a little divot, and I wondered whether the sun was supposed to rise through that little divot on the solstice, and whether the markings at the top were supposed to roughly delineate parts of the year as the sun moved. And then I got to thinking about the fingers, why are the fingers like that? Why have they got these trenches of different depths and widths? And then it struck me, what if the fingers would, the sun coming through the ring would then cast a shadow upon the fingers, and would the position of the sun in this, based on the time of year, make a difference to where the shadow would lie on the fingers? Are we looking at a calendar or a clock? They set the stones up on the top of the hill, and by looking on at sunrise, they could see what time of year it was. Was it time to plant? Was it time to harvest? A lot of thought and effort went into carving these stones, and I'm sure they had a very good reason. My knowledge of Neolithic history and astronomy, you could write on the back of a fag packet, so I'm probably completely wrong, but it did intrigue me. And the name, the Devil's Ring, I'm guessing that's why it's here at the edge of the field. I'm guessing early Christians coming to the area saw the locals coming to these stones and thought they have to stamp that out. And so they gave it the name, the Devil's Ring. And eventually it's been moved, which is a shame because it sort of hides its original function partly. Those of you who want a shorter route could turn left here and then take the next left, which will take you back into Norton-in-hales. It's about 3 miles, so a nice distance for a stroll. I fancy a longer route, so I'm going to go straight on to Mucklestone. Today's route's about 8.5 miles, and it's all off-road on farms, land. It's just beautiful and peaceful and quiet. I'm guessing things haven't changed that much here since Neolithic times. It's just open countryside and farms. And this is Mucklestone. I'm going to stop and take a picture of the church, St Mary's of Mucklestone, which is famous as, I believe, Queen Margaret of Anjou stood at the top of the tower to watch the Battle of Bloor Heath back in 1459 during the War of the Roses, and then rode away when they lost. I'm going to head south now, and we'll head through to Bloor Heath. The battlefield is ahead on our left. I don't think you can actually get to it properly. We're going to take a right through the woods and down to the other end of it. And so this is Bloor Heath. And over yonder in that field, beyond the road, is where the Battle of Bloor Heath took place. There's a monument there, Audley's Cross, which marks where Lord Audley was slain. Yeah, so Lord Audley, under Queen Mary's direction for the Lancastrians, gave battle here, and yes, he fell, and then Lord Dudley took over and attacked. Unfortunately, it failed, and more than 2,000 Lancastrians died, and the Yorkists, there was a rout, and they were spread the forces far and wide. We're going to take a right here, and then immediately left on the unmarked farm track, and then follow the path over the fields down to Almington. Okay, this is Almington. We're very close to Market Drayton here, and this is the most southern part of our route. We're going to head north now and cross the Newcastle Road and then take the path up to Oakley, where we cross over the River Tern back into Shropshire and then follow it north back into Norton-in-hales. Busy spot. We want to cross over. I could be here a while. Well, where's Bob on where the path should be? Should be over there. I'll go to the corner. He's obviously done it for a reason. Well, it's not clear. I'm assuming it's down here. And this is Oakley. What a peaceful spot. We're going to drop down to the river now and then follow it north back up to Norton-in-hales. Okay, all done. Did you enjoy that? That was a lot of fun. Got to be honest, it turned out to be a longer run than I'd planned. The path that I was going to take turned out to be private property, so I had to do a different route, but it was very interesting. One for the more intrepid explorers, lots of across the fields there. Anyway, I'm going to head home. Come and give it a visit, and wherever you are, keep your eyes peeled and look at the map a bit closer. Really interesting to find some of these really old pieces of stone knocking around. Take care, folks. See you next time.